question for you, Anton, is what is happening in the U.S. housing market right now?
And I was looking through Redfin and the Federal Reserve. You can go right on to the Federal Reserve's website. This is on the St. Louis Fed website. And you can look at the median sales price of homes here sold in the United States. The median sales price in Q1 of 2024 was $420,800. And you can go all the way back to Q1 of 1963, $17,800. And you go, wait a second. Houses have shot up 24x, almost 24x in 61 years. But what was the average income in the 1960s? That was only 5 to 10K a year. Okay, so let's call it 7,500. That's right in the middle. The average income in 2024 was 75,000. So average incomes have only shot up about 10x, while the average home price went up almost 24x in the same timeline. That's kind of the premise of what I wanted to just set forth today, because we know homes are unaffordable. We know prices have been rising, and we've had all this like doom and gloom, right? Where the doomers are like, the market's gonna crash. And us as consumers, we have this large scale recency bias where we look back and we say, you know what, 2008, the Great Recession happened in my lifetime. Therefore, every time there's a recession, what we should see is we should see home prices crash massively. That's not what's happening. The opposite of that is what's happening.
It's going up still?
Home prices across the U.S. are going up at a time when things are unaffordable because home prices are high and interest rates are super high. And at a time when inflation is nipping at our heels and stealing a lot of our cash. Home prices in the U.S., according to Redfin data, nationwide, up 6.2% year over year in April. That is beating the average over like the last 20 years of price appreciation. The last 25 years was almost 4%.
Like there's no hope for people that don't have a home to get an affordable home.
Bingo. This data right here goes against the economists, the social media people, the YouTube people who said everything's going to crash. Just because it did before doesn't mean it will again. And that crash was due to oversupply of building and new construction, and making it super easy for the consumer to be able to purchase. In other words, we robbed borrowers from the future and we shoved them into the early 2000s. Okay, people that should have never bought. They should have had to have improved their credit, their income, got bigger down payments. So the median price last month was $433,558 here in the US. And the number of homes sold is up 7.1%. So we sold almost 500,000, basically 458 or 445,000 homes in April. All while the national 30-year fixed debt right now is at 7%, which is higher, 0.6 higher than it was last year. Fundamentally, we are 2.8 million units behind on housing. Therefore, right now you're at what you would call base level demand because, like you were just talking about, everything's unaffordable, rates are so high, blah, blah, blah. Base level demand is around 4 million units, and the housing numbers just came out. So we were at 4.15 or something like that. And it ticked up slightly, didn't, smash it out of the park. We were just at over 6 million sales. So at 4 million, there's still enough demand to keep up with the supply to cause prices to rise in the face of 7% interest rates, massive inflation, and massive unaffordability. Therefore, as the economy moves forward and over the next 36 months or 5 years, rates come down, it'll simply keep increasing because we're not building enough houses to keep up with demand.
As long as people can afford it, though. Because at one point, wouldn't you agree that people won't be able to afford it, and the only people that can afford it are people with lots of money? But even them, at one point, like after you buy your house, you can't afford more. So then it's the investors or the rich people that buy it.
100%, but somebody will. So here's when there's a lack of a commodity and the demand is there to maintain prices in the face of the headwinds that we are talking about, and we're bouncing in and out of a recession or in a K-shaped recovery or a rolling recession, whatever we want to call it there, if we're in this right now and house prices haven't changed and they're going up faster than average, why would they go down? See, everyone gives me an emotional response about why they would go down.
It's a gut feeling for me.
It's a gut feeling. Bingo. They can't show me in the math where it's going to go down. Every price drop previously has had something that caused it to happen. Okay? You're so far behind. This is why politicians, everyone get it wrong. They look at the problem and they always want to help the demand side. They're like, let's give them money, a first-time homebuyer credit. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. The problem is we need to build more houses. And until we build more houses, prices are going up.